Welcome to the Heartwork podcast, where we delve into stories, struggles, and triumphs of entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth. I'm Dr. Sara.
And I'm Dr. Marisa. We're here to guide practitioners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and those just navigating the complexities of life on a journey of discovery that explores the dance between passion and strategy, heart and hustle.
With candid conversations, insightful interviews, and plenty of laughs, get ready to uncover how leading with heart can transform your business and life. Let's dive in.
Welcome back, y'all, to the continuation. Opening this up because Sarah's about to ask me some questions and it's about to get messy. So I hope you guys enjoy.
We're going to go there. And this is the awesome part, is because I know I can at the same time. So one of the most brilliant things about my dear friend Marisa is that she, out of anybody, really could push through and really heal, probably in a way that nobody else could heal, just because of who she is and how she likes to operate. And she does have this brilliant way of being able to see so much abundance and also be able to navigate the emotions. And I think that's one of the coolest things I've watched of her, and of you, as I'm literally talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I just also know you too. And I think that this is a very beautiful period of time, an invitation that you're being invited into, to not just push through because you can, but to actually be invited into a place of understanding, why is it that we are in this place in the first place? Why are we experiencing what we are in the first place? And so last episode, you guys all got to hear really the whole story, kind of this series of events that came up to the culmination of a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling. We talked a little bit about it. But one of my things that I'm curious about, just to get this whole thing started, is, and because I think a lot of people can relate to this also, this is not just you. I think this is just literally a societal aspect, because we are such a performance, success, results driven society that is very much I can't be known and can't be worthy if I am not producing, if I am not giving, or if I am not literally being successful because I'm doing something. And you made a couple of comments in the last episode of, I understand why am I doing this, but also I still am navigating I want to do this, feel productive, and I can't just rest and all that type of stuff. So, so why do you feel you need to keep doing to retain the normalcy of what our life is perceived as, of the successful, the productive? What do you think is the drive behind wanting to just continue to do versus just allow your body to rest?
It feels guilty. It feels like you're also okay, I'm using the word violating again, but it feels like you're in breach of contract of being given this life. To contribute positively to the world or contribute positively to yourself. Every breath and every moment is given, and it could be taken just like that. And so it's this weird sense of, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was going to word vomit this out. We're about to get existential. You're given this one life to live, right? And it's almost this feeling of scarcity, in the sense of if I don't do things in my life, if I'm not positively contributing to myself, am I really living the width of my life? So there's this essence around every action, everything that you do, every moment that you live. Are you really living it fully? And almost this sense of when you're not in the process of creating something or contributing something or doing something, and you're just simply existing, is that actually this almost, how do you put it in words? Almost this taking for granted the life that you are given. When in fact, were we ever really meant to be this productive, to live this rat race, to constantly be to constantly be chasing something? Because, like, logically, I know that sitting out in nature and listening to water, like, I'm a water girly all day. Put me at a lake with a mountain. I'm not really a beach girly, but I am an ocean girly. So, like, put me on the dock of our bay shore house and just let me listen to that. Even though the Mississippi is ugly and gross, like, put me on a little chair by the Mississippi River and just let me listen to the lapping water sounds. Like, I love that. That, like, fuels me and gives me life. Water baby. It was born in June. Like, there's all kinds of reasons for it. I know that sitting in that and just experiencing that, that's joyful. At the same time, it's like, is that all I should have done? Should I be reading while enjoying listening to the lapping sounds? Should I be posting something for Heartwork and like letting creativity flow through me while I'm listening through those sounds? It's the same thing that I've come up with where, I don't know, maybe like a month ago, I created a logo for a new brand, and I love like vintage things. I love antiquing. I have like a newfound love for like refurbishing furniture and DIY and like stuff like that. And there is a very creative part of me that I haven't exercised in a long time because of all of the, accomplishment chasing. I've gotten away from just like playing piano. But again, was piano ever really just to play piano, or was piano to get good at piano, to play recitals and to play in a performance of the musical and to play in the orchestra at the spring concert? And it's so hard to differentiate the two, of the sense of like, well, yeah, why can't you just play for joy? And if you're good at it, then also want to showcase that and therefore practice and prep for recital. In the same way that like we are chiropractors and we learn the art of adjusting, but like we still want to be able to provide the best service. So we still continue to take education and seminars to like refine our skills, which is still just to provide the service and perform in that service to help people get a great result, even though we're not responsible for the result. Like there's still this essence of we do things in our day, or we find things that we love, and it's like, can we turn this into a money-making thing? Can we take something from this versus just the creating to create, versus just the joy of simply existing? And I think that's why there is such a fucking like market around this shit, because people are so thirsty for it, because we have learned that that is not like doing that and simply existing is actually not important, and it's not contributing to the greater good. Even though it might be contributing to you, and like we know that rest is good. And in fact, like even Pablo, we were chatting on Wednesday in my normal session, and he was like, even high performing athletes know that like the rest and recovery part of training is just as important, sometimes if not more, than the actual training process. But like when you're resting and recovering, there's still this aspect of the fact that like you're doing that so that you can do the training better. Like there's this mind fuck around like those pieces of what the hell is going on. And so it's something that I have really been like seesawing in over this last 2 weeks, of like really recognizing that, because again, your logical brain can tell you, of course rest is productive, of course just going on a walk is just nice to go on a walk, of course reading a book just because you want to fucking read a book is great. But then there's this other part of you that's just like, should I be doing something else? Well, how do I take this book and like learn something from it? How do I like take what I saw this series and like adapt from it, or like communicate differently, or ambiance different, or, oh, well, I liked that dress. Should I then go? You just,
So I have to add to that. I think the thing that for me that differentiates it, at least when I'm hearing you talk, and also what I know to be true for a lot of people, and what I've also had to navigate and still navigate through, the minute that we feel like we should be doing something, that's the place of the should equals shame, right? The minute
Yeah.
that you feel like you should do something, you're immediately equating it to you feel guilty and you feel shameful if you're not going to do it because you're trying to get something from that. Versus it be just coming from an overflow out of your life, because it is something that just brings you joy and it just literally lights you up and you want to give this to the world because it's this organic thing that's just fucking flowing from you. You know, like there is something so different in that versus it just be, okay, well, I feel guilty resting because I'm not producing. There's the thing, right? The minute that we start to feel like, and I'm giving myself goosebumps in this, so I know that this is good at the same time. Like, but it's like the minute that we feel like we need to perform when we are resting or being just invited to rest, right? Like that's where the disconnect I believe in. And I know that like if you look at like spiritual aspects of stuff, like there's so much of it when you look at the Bible and spiritual places of talking about rest. And it's not always just about the producing aspect, because you need the rest to produce. You need the rest to be able to create. You need the rest to be able to train, like you said, and like to do all that. And so it's interesting, like whenever, and again, like I know it's such a dance, especially when you first start to play in it and you start to actually like give yourself permission to rest, or you're forced to rest like you are having to do right now, to where you literally cannot do something. It's like almost going through a detox a little bit, where it's like, well, what the freak am I doing right now? Because all I know to do is this thing, you know, and all I know to do is be able to go to the office and produce and create and say that I'm going to I have these couple hours and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do videos. I'm going to do all these types of things. And again, versus giving ourselves the permission to just see what it looks like to just calmly rest. And again, I know it to be true for myself, but I think that again, the difference of it is where the shame comes in, and like the feeling of guilt or feeling like you have to or should produce,
right? Or that you're not doing enough.
Totally. So, question.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know that because like different scenario for you right now, just because you haven't been able to move around as much. Have you put yourself in front of water so far in this recovery?
Yeah. No. If I could, well, I mean, I don't know all the background around it, but if I could put myself in the car or in the plane and just take myself to our Ocean City house, I would love to do that for a moment. But there are obviously bodies of water and lakes around here. I have not actually done that, replenished my soul in that way, for sure. I don't. Like, I've gone up and down the stairs to get to my basement and have like figured that out. And I posted a video on actually Homestead's. I recorded a video for Homestead, like a testimonial, because there have been so many instances of evidence where I have felt like also incredibly in gratitude for all of the things that I do in my life that contribute to my health and general well-being, because of like in a physical sense and in a health and chiropractic sense. Because I mean, even just having to navigate going up and down the stairs in my house, I mean, I don't have to do those things. I can wait for my husband to get home, or I can call one of the beautiful friends that I have that have offered to come and help for things. But it's like, if I need to, like, I can, which is so cool that I can balance and I can like regulate my body and do that. Like, I can drive the car and I can get myself out and like into a store and into one of those little wheelie electric scooter cart things and like go shop if I needed to do that. Like, if I were actually truly all alone, I have the physical means to be able to like stand up on one leg without having to hold on to another object. Like, that's fucking awesome. But I don't know, to get to some of my favorite bodies of water, if I would be able to take the crutches and like actually get myself there with as much gratitude I have on the balance and coordination that I've currently showcased over this last 2 weeks. But
I'm just saying, like you said, there's the Mississippi's right there. So obviously like that's a body of water. So I just was curious more so.
Yeah.
But
I just need to go to a place that's like literally handicap accessible. Like, I have to exercise like these things that I've never had to exercise before. And then also like, you don't need to use things until you need to use them. And how great is it that we have?
And
So,
also, like, it doesn't require, at least at the end of the day, like, rest does not necessarily mean you have to be in front of a body of water to rest, right? And,
no.
like, you don't have to go there to experience it, even though it doesn't mean it doesn't invite us into places that are really gonna
Mhm.
kind of cue it in faster for us, maybe. Like, we've talked
Yeah.
about this, and you guys, if you listen to this podcast, you know that my horse is like the place that I go. I'm like, I can immediately drop in. Like, it's just one of those places I can drop in so quick. Doesn't happen all the time, but like, doesn't have to happen if you literally physically can't move, right? For you to like go spend time there. I love also when I was like hearing you say like the feeling guilty to not contribute.
Mm.
Um, the feeling guilty to not contribute, but at what cost? At the sacrifice of your own life,
Literally.
right?
Literally. Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's like too, like so many people feel like, yes, you have to contribute, but again, what's the like, not only the physical cost for you right now, but also
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like the emotional, like
Yes.
the spiritual aspect of it. Like, I know for myself, that was one of the hugest turning points when I had the physical aspect draw me into the healing side of things,
Mhm.
where I was sacrificing so much of myself emotionally and majority emotionally, but like I was caretaking so many freaking people at the compromise of myself. I was making decisions for other individuals before I was making decisions for myself.
Yep.
I was making other decisions for individuals before actually taking care of the people that I loved closest to me, because other people were way more important. But it gave me so much accolade when I was doing that. It gave me the sensation of, oh, okay, well, look at how good I am at taking care of everybody else
Mhm.
first, and it like makes you feel really proud of yourself. It makes you feel really proud that you're contributing this to the world, right? And like saying that, oh, I have this gift to give this world, which is so true, right? Like at the end of the day, like you and I both, I 100% know we have a gift to give to this world. And it again, though, like where is it coming out of? Is it coming out of the purity of just because it's a full extension of us, or is it coming out of the place that feels like it has to become a performance to do it at the same time?
It's such a freaking fine line because I mean,
Mhm.
even to this day, or to 2 weeks ago, it's like there's still always something for me to do at the office, whether it be for patients or whether it be for team to try and help lighten their load because they're going through stuff and I don't want them to feel overwhelmed. I want them to be happy and joyful when they're in the office, blah, blah. And you like, same thing for our patients and wanting them to get the best service and feel the most healing and do the most things. But you're like, I still don't come home until 9 o'clock at night sometimes. And it's like, what is that costing me? What is that also costing in my inner intimate world? Like with
Right.
my husband and our dog and like times that we could spend together because I'm so focused on caretaking for people. But it's also the sense of like, it comes from a truly organic place of wanting to see them thrive. I wouldn't be in the profession or in the career that I'm in if I didn't truly want to see other people thrive and didn't want to serve them. There's like, it's like, where do you cut it though? Like, where do you cut it for the sense of like, you don't have to serve until there's nothing left and then try and go home and replenish a cup to serve again till there's nothing left the next day. Like, and also do those extra 2 hours actually make a freaking difference? And are those things really that actually important? Or am I just trying to feel good about being ahead of the game versus always feeling like I'm behind and having to play catch up? But then to what standards am I actually holding that mean that I'm either ahead or behind or right on time? Like where does that actually come from? Who created that? Is it really me? Is it our clients? Is it my team? Like, what the fuck? There have been so many days, so many times over these last 2 weeks where I've just been like, what the fuck was that? Because you see those things of yourself. And it's like, I don't have the answer for it, clearly, because even though I know it conscientiously, like I still am doing it the same way. It's like you sometimes feel better about it because you have more conscious awareness of the dysfunction that you have, yet you still haven't changed the actual action that comes with it. Right? Like, I know that I want to be home earlier. I know that I wanted to wake up and go to the gym every day at 6 a.m. to get my workout in before going to the office. And then I did some of those things. I did go to the gym earlier and do that. I would come home earlier to my husband. And also, like, some of that requires me to offload responsibilities and tasks from my plate. I have another doctor in the office now. So I've been able to do more of that and leave with the team because I have someone else that's sharing the load of the things that I do. But there's also that other side of it where it's like, you can fill your day with busy tasks and like mundane things. And it's like, you can either do them or you can pay someone else to do them or they don't get done at all. So then there's the mark of, are these things actually needing to get done in the timeline that you think that they need to get done? Or two, there's plenty of things that a million people want to get done that they don't get done in that day. And it's like, does it need to get done? Do you need to pay someone else to do it just because it has to get done right now? Do you need to be the one to do it just because it has to get done right now? Or like, what? Like, again, at what speed are we determining that we have to function at in order to live a contributing life and feel good when our head hits the pillow at night?
I think that's the rat race, and I think that sometimes, like, at least this is something I feel like I've been in for the past 6 months, 9 months, maybe even, to where the reality of, it's really easy to see what other people are doing. And you and I are both doers, 100%. Like, we're both entrepreneurs. We've opened businesses. We lead teams, like, have desires to see Heartwork flourish and do other things. Just like we have these like inner desires that we do want to see like really run and go, which is great. While at the same time, like you said, at like what speed and why do we need to do it? For me, a lot of times it's like the fear of missing out. It's like, if I don't do this now, I'm never going to have the opportunity again. Or I'm just going to create this busy work. But at the same time, like, there's also this reality of like, sometimes it's just not in the right alignment, like in the right timing. But it doesn't mean that necessarily that you're never not going to have the opportunity again. For the sake, again, you're doing it for, really at the end of the day, when you're doing it for like the fear of missing out, or you're doing it for the sake of like success or result, you're typically doing it for somebody else at the same time too. You're not even doing it through authenticity for yourself, because you're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to what your actually heart wants, right? You're literally doing it for the whether to post on social media to say, here, I fucking did this thing, or to say like, oh, I did this thing. Cool. How, but what is it for and why, and I think that's like the wildest part to half of it is like that. I mean, again, like, so that's been my world. I feel like the past like 6 months, and still now today, of like asking a lot of those questions. And I think one of the things that you said I thought was brilliant at the same time. Like, conscious awareness is one of the first steps you have to at the end of the day have to have first anyway. For anybody that's going through, again, awareness of self, right? You have to be aware of the things that you are doing to be able to even have a quote unquote behavior change. Right. Behavior all day long, we can try to change behavior, or we can, I think we've talked about this before on this podcast, where it's like, if you want to go lose 10 pounds, like all day long, you can be a disciplined human and like try to go to the gym, lose 10 pounds and do all these things. But prior to that, there had to be an awareness of some of the things that you were doing prior to that maybe weren't as healthy for you to even want to be able to go work out in the first place or go do those aspects. You have to have conscious awareness before even the understanding that a behavior can change. Conscious awareness leads to ownership, which then allows you to say like, this is something that I do in my life. This is here. And also, okay, am I okay with that? I don't know how I feel about it. Am I loved here? I don't know. Cool. Get honest. Like, that's a place of like the honesty, right? It's like, it may feel icky, but at the same time, like, that honesty is so pure and so good. And then eventually that's where you ask for healing. Like, okay, I would love to let this go and this not be as big of a deal in my life, right? And like, whether that's God, universe, however you attribute to, like, help me let this go, that this is not as big of a freaking like baggage or cycle in my life that I like to do. So awareness leads to ownership, which leads to eventually letting the freaking thing go, and like, but you have to be, like you said, you have to have the conscious awareness to even allow it to come into your orbit at the same time.
So I want to address too what you said about like doing and knowing when to do and knowing if it's in alignment, if it's the right timing, and just discerning that. Because I think too, like, as entrepreneurs, as people that enjoy even just exploring other things and like remain as open human beings to others, like, sometimes opportunities come or doors open and we're like, ooh. And especially when we are like more spiritual and in tune, you can almost like confuse yourself in the sense of like, oh, is this a gift? Like, is this an opening? Is this something I should take? And it's this combo between like not always fear of missing out, but just like fear of ignoring a gift from the universe or a gift from God
Yeah.
and wondering what the ramifications of that would potentially be. But you're still processing that from more of your logical side of the brain and logical like thinking, and also even potentially some like ego aspects, even though you're trying to tap into the spiritual intuition that we are all each given within our bodies. That something I have had to try and learn is like how to step out of the logic and just more into the body and the emotion of like, is this really like giving me kind of like those goofy, like hot belly butterflies? Or is it something that I'm just like in my logical brain of like, ooh, if I don't do this, like, will this prevent other doors from opening, or will this limit it? Or then if I say no, will the universe say, oh, she's not open to receiving more? And we can very easily cycle ourselves in that constant, again, it just comes down to like fear, scarcity, not being enough, not having enough, not being grateful enough for something to come along and us to not want it, or us to want it, but it not be the right timing, and wonder if it's going to show up again or if we're going to be good enough to receive it. And it's just like, how do we get here? And do we actually ever get out of it? Really? Or does it continue to be a cycle of consistent conscious awareness, emotional ownership?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we talked about this at the Heartwork weekend that we had. I think it's a constant choice of active surrender.
Yeah.
I mean, to a reality of it, it's like we are 100% going to be human beings. We have egos, we have circumstances around us. They're only going to feed that at the same time too, right? And ego is so subtle, and it's going to come in really easily and quickly, but in sometimes the most like quietest fashion. And all of a sudden it just then blows up and you're like, wow, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah.
And but like at the end of the day, like 100%, like, is there a way, like, I do know to be true, and I know you can attest to this too, like where I was when I first started a lot of this work 8 years ago, I'm a much healthier human than I was 8 years ago, right? And like to what used to grab me and to what used to pull me to the degree then doesn't even touch it now, right? However, it doesn't mean that there's still not things that pop up and that still don't like grab and kind of like try to, because I mean, for me personally, like money, success, performance, results, those are huge triggers for me. And because of just my wounding. So am I going to have probably triggers in the things that are going to try to pull in? Because at the end of the day, we do live in a society where, spiritually speaking too, I think there is a dark side to this too, right? So it's like there's naturally going to be this like light will always win and love will always win. I fully believe. However, there's still things that are trying to pull us to the side of like to dance in that space too. And so I'm not the same individual that I was. However, there's still things that will definitely grab it. So is there really a choice and opportunity to have that active surrender and that understanding of, yes, we do need to dance in this, and we don't need to, we get to have the opportunity to be able to say like, okay, I see and I'm aware of this, but I don't need to choose this today at the same time.
Right. Back to our notes.
I know, I was going to be like, do I have anything else that I want to add and ask? I literally did write down a lot of notes. We have kind of covered a lot of them though throughout it. So,
I mean, it's been a great conversation.
Yeah, it's been great. I feel like I know what God has been really talking to me about in this season. And I'm really curious through just like these past couple weeks for you, what do you feel like is the continuation of invitation for you for what the God of the universe is really wanting to speak to you about?
Honestly, like truly just rawly, honestly, I think that I am about to walk into a completely different and new era of my life. Like truly. I think that I think that little girl Marisa, like, lived a lot of her life and protected herself a lot. I think that then I had this phase of, like, grown-up Marisa having to then take that self-protection and create self-production so that she could be responsible for herself in this world, even though that was never forced on me. That was never something that my family asked me to do. Just, again, self-preservation and protection when you're a little girl, I think can lead to, at least for me, like self-worth issues and production to create a new set of protection and safety, even though I actually didn't steward what I was creating and what I was producing well at all, like in my 20s. But I just figured it out and I kept living and life just kept happening for me in really beautiful ways that it was like I never really had to self-evaluate. I really truly didn't. Life like always quote unquote worked out. Even a path that I didn't go down that I thought I was going down turned and it still ended up to be beautiful. So like there were all these examples of times where like a hardship turned into a positivity. Okay. So like a little bit, well, more a lot of bit of like toxic positivity in that time of my life. And just always trying to find the silver lining to not address the shit that was happening truly inside. And then it, again, I come back to this time because it really was a turning point and a pivot was like just COVID time and just recognizing that my self-preservation and my self-protection in a career and in a business world did not trump the heart and did not trump what actually like lights me up inside, which is kind of coming back to little girl Marisa of like feeling loved, feeling seen, feeling worthy, which really just comes back to, I think, the inherent desire of every human being is just to feel loved, feel seen, and feel worthy. And so transitioning so much of my life and then coming out here and doing this and marrying the love of my life and just that, like I went back into a little bit of self-production and self-worth issues to not dull, because I'm very proud of the decision that I make, and I'm obviously very much at rest and peace with the decision I made to move out here and change my life drastically for all of that. Or not change, how about this? Evolve my life for all of that and expand my life through all of that. Also the sense of like, if Alex and I don't work out, like you need to take care of yourself out here regardless. So what are you going to do about that? And I mean, opening Homestead came from a very like organic place. I did other jobs. I did other things to make money and like take care of paying for my own apartment and my own expenses and everything before we got married, engaged, any of that. And opening Homestead was a birth of that space and time. But there was also this aspect of like, okay, like you're doing something so that it can just be yours. So that if anything else goes awry, you still have a tie to some sort of stability. However, if you tie your stability to an external object, like a business, you will never be stable because a business flows just the way life does. And that's, I think, where a lot of overproduction, a lot of mothering, a lot of all of that really truly like in the depth was and is coming from is because it's like, that's my baby. That's my life source. That's my personal income. That's my personal offering to the world. But then, okay, did you hear that? Like I said, that's my offering to the world. Like, why aren't I just the offering to the world? Like, why isn't it just me? And as Alex and I start talking about like starting a family and like moving and just walking into a new season where it won't be about me anymore. It will be potential like about also cultivating and raising another human being. And there's so much beautiful sacrifice that comes with that. And I feel like this time has been a time of showcasing just how much emotional cord and tie I have to so many other external things compared to the true stability and the true safety within myself. I know that if shit hits the fan, I can take care of myself. I know that I am resourceful. I know that I am capable. But do I truly, really, in my heart, think, know, and own that I am worthy? And I think that's where I still struggle. And that's where I found the challenge. Worthy to take rest, worthy to not do, worthy to, not be present for someone else, worthy to not still go to the gym and coach, worthy not to show up for the team still, worthy not to let people know, like, I'm still here. We're still the same homestead is what I wrote, like in a text message to all our patients, and we're still here to care for you. Like, why do I feel the need to justify what is actually a true need that I have right now? Why? Why? And so I think that's what I'm having to work through. And again, I can sit in this cry and I can sit in this emotion that I'm feeling right now while still also knowing, like, that's a good, like, it sucks, but that's a good thing to know. Because when I have a child in front of me, like, are they worthy because they're crawling or because they're walking or because they ate a new food that day? Or are they worthy just because they're my child? So, like, what an opportunity for me to, like, start healing this part of myself so that I don't put that also, like, on them. And not that my parents ever put that on me. And that's not what I'm saying at all. But just, like, I don't think any of that is ever intentional, right? But we respond to the environment and to the life that we're living in. And so if I don't want to turn this into me, again, like performing to create the perfect environment for a child, but like this is stuff that I'm like processing and thinking about of like stepping into a new season of hopefully being a mother and having a family and what that looks like, because my life is going to look completely different and I am going to be doing different things, but also like, does it have to look different? Can I still can she truly have it all? But what does all actually look like, right? Is it all that she's 80 hours a week in the business and the perfect mom at home? Is it all that she's the perfect wife and going to the gym and doing her fitness and getting 8 hours of sleep or like, so I think this time is really to truly evaluate like who I am again, like really, and what are the things that ground me and where do I truly pull my safety and stability from? And is that there within myself? Or is it still connected so much to other things? It's not a bad thing to find stability and safety in outside things, but is that the only place that you gather it? Or do you also have the strongest, I think of like remember those like games we used to do as a kid where like you would go to like the circus or the playground and there was that big old strong, almost like tree trunk or pole in the middle. And then all the scarves or flags are like riding along. And like you as a kid, you've got a scarf and you're like walking around and you create a twist and then you walk back the other way. Like, where's my center pole? Or am I only stable because of all the other scarves finding stability in everyone else that's holding the other end of that scarf?
It's a lot. I feel it. It's so beautiful because at the end of the day, like you said it in the very beginning, had a lot of other things fill some gaps between there, but you said it way in the beginning of this little piece of yourself is still wanting to know they are loved, valuable, and worthy.
Totally.
I think at the end, for all of us, no matter where we are and no matter what we're navigating, that is always going to come to the surface. Like, do we find value, love, and are we cared for in a way that's not out of the circumstance, the production, the success, the result, and what a gift. What a gift that you're being invited to know. That's going to make me emotional. It's like to get to know even this version of yourself, that you are loved, you are valuable, and you're worthy, regardless of all the things that you do.
Yep.
What a fucking gift. I think that is the coolest thing. If all of us can know that to be true in every season of our life, it comes back to that. Like, I know, like, I think I was coming back from a conference. We had a conference back in May, and I was like asking God this question of like, what is my purpose? And listing out all these things. And literally God quieted me in a moment. He's like, can you just be a beloved daughter and that be all that you are? And I just sobbed because it was like, in that moment, that was enough. And I think that's what I think all of us end up looking for is like, doesn't mean we 100% don't have beautiful gifts flowing out of us, but can we still just be enough by being a daughter, being loved, valuable, and worthy? What a brilliant thing. We hate injury. We hate that. Well, obviously everything that's had to happen, or like not even had to happen, but it did happen.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful gift of the invitation that you are coming to see and know to be true for yourself.
Absolutely. Onward and onward.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Heartwork podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with heart in your business and life.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you never miss a release, rate our show, leave us a review, get on our VIP email list, and join our exclusive Facebook group, The Heartwork Life, to plug into our community and learn from us and other heart-led entrepreneurs on a weekly basis.
We look forward to chatting with you next time.
Bye!